shouting through the night. Static hum that shakes the ground, Riff Nation rising loud, profound. Feel the fire, feel the fight, we're the shadows in the night. Crashing waves, we take the stage, unleash the fury, turn the page. Steel strings scream the truth we bring, echoed chaos, hearts that sting. Electric veins that feed the roar, harder, faster, crave for more. Dust and sparks ignite the air, shattered silence, do we dare? Tidal force, relentless stream, we're the edge, we're the dream. Feel the fire, feel the fight, we're the shadows in the night. Crashing waves, we take the stage, unleash the fury, turn the page. Riff Nation, hold the line. In the chaos, we align. Through the storm, through the pain, we're the anthem in your veins. Feel the fire, feel the fight, we're the shadows in the night. Crashing waves, we take the stage, unleash the fury, turn the page. Riff Nation, hold the line. In the chaos, we align. Through the storm, through the pain, we're the anthem in your veins.
Welcome to the midnight tide, where shadows whisper, darkness hides. We're diving deep into the unknown, on a journey you're not alone. From haunted halls to specters lost, we'll guide you through the eerie frost, with tales that chill and spirits roam. A freaking awesome paranormal show. Ghostly whispers, ancient tomes, mysteries in haunted homes. Brace yourselves, it's time to go. The freaking awesome paranormal show. The freaking awesome paranormal show. Ghostly whispers, ancient tomes, mysteries in haunted homes. Brace yourselves, it's time to go. The freaking awesome paranormal show. The freaking awesome paranormal show. Welcome to the midnight tide, where shadows whisper, darkness hides. We're diving deep into the unknown, on a journey you're not alone. From haunted halls to specters lost, we'll guide you through the eerie frost, with tales that chill and spirits roam. The freaking awesome paranormal show. Ghostly whispers, ancient tomes, mysteries in haunted homes. Brace yourselves, it's time to go. The freaking awesome paranormal show. The freaking awesome paranormal show. Ghostly whispers, ancient tomes, mysteries in haunted homes. Brace yourselves, it's time to go. The freaking awesome paranormal
The Freakin Awesome Paranormal Show.
What's up, all you? Hang on one second. There we go.
Better.
So, before the show started, I thought I was having a stroke because I was looking for the intro. And you know how things change, like stuff will update and then stuff will just disappear. You don't even realize it, and you try to go to do something,
Yeah.
and it's not there. And I'm like, oh shit! I'm like looking up and down the video clips. So then I saw, I think Christina had one. It's labeled "Updated Regular Podcast Intro." So I'm thinking, okay, they changed the intro and didn't tell us. So I started playing the Hauntings and Histories intro. So that's what my little glitch was. But yeah, hello, all you freaks out there. This is Ryan.
This is Rhonda.
And Rhonda
Yeah,
had a busy weekend.
I did. I went
She
to
went
the
to the Berg.
Gettysburg Battlefield Bash, where there was everything you could ever want paranormal.
Was it a
Speakers,
bash?
vendors, it was a bash. They do not lie. It was a bash.
I'm gonna make it up there at some point.
It really is. It can be done in a day. It can be done in a day.
It's not that far. We're like 3 hours, 3 or 4 hours away.
It's like, yeah, like 3.5.
When RJ gets older, we'll take a trip up
Oh,
there.
he would love it. He would love it.
Yeah, he's into that kind of. He's into that stuff.
Yeah, it was
You know,
fun.
oh, there we go. New network intro coming, guys. So
So there
be
you
on the
go.
lookout for that.
Yeah,
That's super exciting.
that is
So
exciting.
of course, it is National Milk Chocolate Day, which is my favorite kind of chocolate. Honestly,
Yeah, me too.
I
Not gonna lie.
I can get into dark chocolate if if it's there. I might eat a dark chocolate, but I hate
White chocolate.
white chocolate.
Me too.
Yes,
Not a fan.
it is nasty.
Not
Too
a
sweet.
fan at all.
It is. And what was my nickname in high school?
White
But
chocolate.
for other reasons, not because of that, obviously. But yeah, I am not a big fan of white chocolate, but I do love a good milk chocolate candy bar, like a Hershey bar or something like that. So
Yep.
that is exciting. National Milk Chocolate Day. So I'm gonna play a game with you.
Okay.
Okay, we're gonna play a game.
Okay.
We're gonna pretend that we're at a party.
Okay.
All right. And I asked the AI to give me the top 5 worst pickup lines for a paranormal investigator. Each week we'll go like vampire.
For a paranormal investigator. Okay.
Yes. I'm trying
Yeah.
to. You're a paranormal investigator. I'm
Okay.
picking you up with these lines. And each week we'll do something different, a different scenario as
Okay.
far as werewolf, ghost, whatever. All right. So first one is, and we'll pick the best one, and people in chat will pick the best one as well.
Yeah. Chat.
All right,
pick the
so-
best one.
And you've got to try it next time on an investigation. Okay, first one. Are you an EVP? Because I swear you've been calling my name all night.
Oh, rah.
Oh my God, crash and burn
That's
on that one.
horrible.
What's up, Wolfpack Paranormal?
Paranormal. Welcome.
Woo! Pops in and see what's going on. We're trying paranormal pickup lines here. So maybe if you find one that you think works, try it out. Number 2. Hey baby, you must be a haunted location because I can't stop coming back to you. Huh?
Oh my
No,
goodness.
All right.
I mean, that's better than the first one.
Yeah,
That's better than the
we're making
first one.
progress
Yeah.
here.
Yeah.
Let's see. Are you my EMF meter? Because every time you're around, my readings go through the roof.
That one's horrible.
Yeah, that's pretty bad.
The first two were better. That one's horrible.
Is that an EMF meter in your hand, or are you just excited to investigate with me? Huh?
Fitting.
I mean, I guess the more you're drinking, maybe they sound better. And number 5 of the worst pickup lines AI could come up with. This is ChatGPT. All right. You can investigate my haunted house anytime. Just don't be surprised if things start moving. Yeah.
Yes, Wolfpack. It sounds
Like, can you investigate You investigate my pants
Sounds
anytime.
stalkerish.
So I guess Chat GPT has got some out
Um,
stalkerish. Yeah, well,
you know,
I mean, Chat
you know,
GPT, the
what are you
worst
gonna do?
pickup. I asked for dirty pickup lines.
Hey, it might work between AI investigators. I don't know.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, maybe I'll set something up for like some robots together.
Right?
Take out with maybe. Yeah, I mean, I'm just reading exactly what Chat GPT wrote, but you know,
We'll have
like I
to.
said they won't do dirty pickup lines. They can't do it. That's gonna make it more
That's
fun.
true.
But
That's true. They've got to be clean. Hey,
hey,
Lois,
Lois,
Kevin, of course,
I was
Cal.
gonna
And
I
Renee
was gonna
Cody
put
shared us out. Thank you. Oh, Sharon Metter, you're there. Thank good to see you.
Kevin's here, Lois is here, Wolfpack is here. I was gonna do an AI picture of my dad in the Civil War uniform, you know.
Uh-huh.
And I was going to ask for a battle scene, and they wouldn't do it because they thought it would be. Well, he said it'll be like bullying and stuff.
Yeah.
So then they were like, if you want to put a battle like scene, put that. So okay, put a battle like scene, and I did it, and they have all the Civil War like Confederate flags in the background that they wanted done before. All I had to do is say a battle like scene, and they put everything in there. So
Interesting.
yeah, I don't know how it works.
Yeah, it's really strange with AI to try to figure out what prompts to use.
You've really got to
Yeah, you really got to be like with AI, the prompts kind of direct whatever you're wanting to come up.
We've got Michelle Wilfong in the TikTok chat over
Hey,
here.
Michelle.
What's up, Michelle?
Rosetta.
Rosetta White's in the house. Woo! Now it's a party. So last week, we missed out on how we need to live our lives, and it was
We had like a whole tarot card reader, so
there's paranormal drama all over the place. If these people had just listened to the show, or if we had just given the readings, nothing else would have happened. It would be like, oh, okay, just listen to Rhonda. So now we'll try to calm shit down and make things right in the world.
Okay. Well, let's do it. I'm giving them another quick shuffle. Well,
Yeah, please. Wolfpack, thank you very much.
All right, so we got. Okay, we'll pull another one with this one just to see what we get. We'll pull from the middle somewhere. Okay. Oh. Okay, this is pretty cool. I like it. So the first card I pulled out of the Outlaw Oracle deck was Scorpion. And Scorpion says formidable guardian safeguard, which would make sense because if you get too close, they're going to sting you. The other one I pulled right after that is Monarch, which is transformation and rebirth. And what I think this is the message for us this week is that when you're trying to make changes in your life within yourself, and you're trying to maybe go on a different path, or even just trying to figure out what path you need to go on next, sometimes it's very important to guard yourself and set up boundaries around people so that you can have that peace to do what you need to do to get to the next level, or figure out your next direction, or figure out what you want to do next. Because our friends mean well, and I say that as friends mean well, but they're very quick sometimes because they know us to try to tell us what to do, or why what we're doing isn't going to work, or whatever that. And sometimes you don't need that naysayer energy around you when you're trying to make some changes in your life and do something a little bit different, or even pursue something new. So I think this is a reminder that when you're really working to make change, you're going to have to set boundaries, and then sometimes, I don't want to say isolate yourself, but remove yourself from situations, or work in quiet to kind of safeguard those things that you're trying to do until you can get them into fruition.
Yeah, it's tough when you want people's opinions on things, but you shouldn't let their opinions
Right.
change your opinion.
Right. Sometimes you got to go into like that cocoon, and kind of stay to yourself a little bit to get things done and get what you need to do and guard that really closely. Because some of the best laid plans are done in silence.
Like that, too many. Sometimes it can be too many distractions to keep you
Yes. Yes.
from what you need to get accomplished. Well, that fits lately. Well, glad that fits. There we go.
Awesome.
Here we go. Good. All right, Wolfpack. Transformation is my life theme. Yes, it is, Rosetta. You got this.
Yep.
Remember
you
how
do,
strong
Rosetta.
you are. You're a badass bitch.
Yep.
That also fits when changes. Yep, that's true.
Yeah.
Definitely true. And guys, if you enjoy tarot card readings and you're bored Thursday night, you can come back here on TikTok because we have Dana Marie Volmer joining us to give free. We're charging you free. $0.
Look at that.
0 cents.
Free.
So you can send us the deposit. Send us $0.00 for the free.
We'll hold that money for you. That $0.00.
We're gonna throw tarot card readings at you like it's no thing.
Right.
So that's this Thursday at 9:00 p.m. Eastern time. But last Thursday we had a pretty awesome show.
Yeah, we were a fun guest.
We had Brian from Ghost Rider House joining us on the show, and guess what? We brought him back. You know what? We're going to bring you back on the show,
so you can meet the rest of our friends.
Yes, you can meet the Tuesday night crew here on the Freakin Awesome Paranormal. So let's bring in Brian Bateman from Ghost Rider House. Welcome back, brother.
All right, can you hear me?
Yes.
Can you hear me?
Okay. Yes, I can hear you. Everything's perfect. How you doing tonight?
Yeah, that's a lovely kitchen.
Thank you. You can thank my wife, actually. Don't thank me.
Good job to her.
You did great.
So tell us about your wife. She's the one who wrote the book, right?
No, everyone always thinks Jennifer is my wife. No, my wife's name is Karen. The author is Jennifer Brasington-Crowley. So we collaborate on the books together. But yeah, not my wife yet. She could be my future wife. Stay tuned.
Oh, I mean, you could be a sister wife, I guess. Maybe, Breaking news, guys.
Just don't tell my wife, right?
Yeah, it'll be our secret.
Okay, cool.
I won't say anything. It's amongst friends, guys. So how did you get hooked up with the house, and how did you get into writing stories about it?
I'll tell you what.
For the group here, tell them where you're located and where the house is located.
Yeah, I was gonna say, if you guys want, I can just do basically kind of a condensed version of the actual ghost tour that I do. And I'll keep it kind of like
awesome.
So yeah, it will tell you a lot more, and then you'll understand everything. So I'll be talking for quite some time as I'm walking you through the house, showing you where people passed away and things of that nature, and where we've had experiences. So I think that's the best way to do it. And then at the end, just if you guys have questions, I'll sit down and rest my back, and then we can just talk out, whatever you want to talk about. So my name is Brian Bateman. This is my 1911 Craftsman style bungalow in Fort Worth, Texas. My wife and I are empty nesters, so this was. It better be the forever home. We're 54, so we're on the back nine, and always loved older homes. Never thought we'd own one, but this one kind of came into our lives. I think we were brought here, and I'll tell you a little bit about that. But originally, this house was a boarding house. So in 1911, the rooms were for rent. There was a servant of the home. His name was Frank Wise, who lived in the carriage house in 1911. And so he would serve breakfast and, basically take care of all the house stuff for the landlady here. And so it has quite the interesting history with all the just different people that have rented rooms in this house over the years. And then in 1957, when the Monroes moved in, they just kind of they never really converted it as a single family because it still had the door leading to the outside in our bedroom, and it was still configured as that boarding house. But in 2023, when the home was renovated, he did a few changes, but they make a lot of sense, and it kind of really makes it feel more like a single family with just some quirky boarding house remnants, I guess you could say. So the house is 1,633 square feet. We have an unfinished attic, and we're on a crawl space. So we moved in to this house. Our first night was February 4th, 2023. And I'll never forget because my dog who's walking around, he's a 10-year-old piebald dachshund named Miles. When I brought him into this room, like this was the nicest room to rent. This was the most expensive room. It did have a closet. I just found out today my room actually had a closet. I never thought it did. It's amazing what happens when you actually look at a floor plan. I was sitting in a folder for 2 years that I never really looked at. It's just so I'm still discovering stuff every now and then, and when I discover it, I'll tell you about it. So, but the floor plan I put on my page, my TikTok page, you can look at it. But my dog came into this bedroom, and was when he went into that closet, he started whimpering and then walked out of the room, and he wouldn't come back in this room for about a year and a half. I mean, this house has been investigated now, I think 6 times, and they talk about this part of the home being a portal. And on the other side of this wall is where a husband and wife passed away years apart, and I'll talk about them in just a minute. So that was the first thing with the dog, and they talk about animal behaviors, and I've never had that. I never witnessed that over my life, and I've had a ton of pets until moving into this house. So there's definitely something to that for sure. Because my other dogs had an experience, my cats have had experiences. You can just tell when something's kind of weird in this house. But so my dog, then that night, we normally would put a little dog bed for him on the side, and our other dog had a dog bed. And our other dog was like 15, blind basically, and deaf, and he just slept. He wasn't bothered. But my other dog, Miles, would not sleep in this bedroom. He would go out every night, even if he had the door shut, he'd scratch to get out, and he'd go into the front part of the house. And we were a little freaked out at first, but we found out, I think, the answer of why he likes it. It's for the reason why I liked this house, and why a lot of people feel the energy out in the front of the house, even if they don't know about the people that passed away here, which again, I'll talk about in a second. So since living here, which has been over 2 years, almost 2.5 years, we've heard whispers. Paranormal investigators have captured whispers. I put those on the page too. They've used that connect thing or whatever to catch the spirit of George right here, standing next to my wife. You can see my wife's figure, and then a little boy figure popped about waist high, and the spirit of George is in this chair. It's a long story. I won't get into the weeds on a lot of the ghost stories, but let's see, a voice of a man my wife heard in the bedroom. TVs will turn on, turn off. That only happens in front of my wife for some reason. And again, the animals behaving strangely. So we had the house investigated because we wanted to confirm our feeling that there was nothing here that was going to harm us, because we had nothing bad happen, just kind of surprising stuff, like a dog bowl spinning in the kitchen in front of my wife, and a water bottle that turned upside down on the family room coffee table on Christmas Day in 2024, which is another interesting story. So I started researching the history of the house, because if you don't know the history, how are you going to solve the mystery? And I joined newspapers.com to have access to their archive section, and also ancestry.com, and typed in my address, picked the Fort Worth Star Telegram as the paper I wanted to start researching, and down the rabbit hole I went, and then some. So I found out, I told you this was a boarding house, and in 1911, 5 out of the 6 people living here, it was one family running the whole house, the 3 rooms, and but 5 of the 6 people were from Indiana, not like Texas. Let's see, we had Metamora, Indiana, Daleville, Indiana, and Anderson, Indiana. So the reason the first man that passed away in this room was here from Metamora, Indiana, is because he outlived his wife and kids, and came down with his niece and nephew, Harry and Viola, to they were starting a new life here in Fort Worth. So he had no one else, and he came along for the adventure. But on January 18th, 1914, he passed away. His name was Elisha Morford. He was 78 years old. He passed away of dropsy. It says on the death certificate, which is like just a heart thing, heart failure, basically. But the interesting thing about him is he was in the Indiana 68th Regiment, specifically Company C, and he served. I mean, the whole war, and he was captured at the Battle of Mumfordsville. He fought at the Battle of Nashville. He fought at the Battle of Chattanooga, and again outlived his wife and kids, only to pass away in Confederate territory all those years later, right? But here's where it gets a little crazy because the next person we found who passed away in the house, we think this room. Her name was Anna Lubbock Kennedy, and she was a Confederate, but not just any Confederate. So if you recognize the name Lubbock, her father was Thomas Lubbock, who the town Lubbock, Texas is named for. Thomas co-founded Terry's Texas Rangers. They were the 8th Texas Cavalry who fought for the Confederates in the Civil War and ended up battling Mr. Elisha Morford's Indiana 68 at the Battle of Chickamauga, which was the second bloodiest battle in the Civil War next to Gettysburg. This is the room my wife heard the voice of the man say, "Hey." This is the television that will turn on, sometimes turn on and then off, only in front of my wife, but it's only happened like 4 or 5 times in over 2.5 years, basically. So it's not like every day that kind of stuff happens, but when it does, you can definitely feel weird energy in here. Not like that dark, gloomy, but more of an electrical, eerie, I guess you could say. You can feel it for sure. And so the first time the investigators came here, they also captured 2 whispers right here of somebody whispering, "Hey," and I have that on the TikTok page. So that's interesting that there are 3 "heys," like somebody's just trying to get your attention. It's not like "get out of here." It's, "Hey," or "hey." Um, and then they had something called a REM pod, which was going off right here. And then they actually captured a little light shooting out of the bathroom. Um, After you heard like a banging sound, and that was the night that the first time they were here ever, like it was really active. Like that's how I found out about these little cat balls, because they had these and I didn't even know what they were, but they were going off all over my house. I know that. So they kind of got my curiosity, and I've been using them for these lives. And if you've been on the lives, it can get quite interesting with these things. um, all right, so again, my dog wouldn't sleep in this room. I'd sleep in the front of the house. And the next 2 people that pass away basically explain a lot, not just for my dogs, but for myself as well. Just quick backstory. I used to live in Cincinnati, Ohio. I was a stay-at-home dad. My wife got an awesome promotion, so we were able to just have me stay with the kids. And I loved staying at home because I was writing comedy for a radio station in Cincinnati for a guy named Gary Burbank. So it was a little side gig, making some money, watching SpongeBob. Life was good. But Gary retires in 2007, hopefully not due to my writing. But for some reason, I decided to go out and just get this 4-leaf clover tattoo on my wrist. I'm not even Irish, but I figured at that point in my life, I needed luck to get another job like that. I was trying to get something with Bob and Tom. Had a little interest, but nothing solid. And then, so I never wrote comedy again since that happened. But I also wanted to remind myself with that clover tattoo that I was very lucky because I don't have to go back to the 9 to 5, and I can watch. And there were some amazing cartoons for Gen X parents like SpongeBob and Chowder, and man, somebody and my daughter watched all the iCarly shows, and there were a lot of great shows. So it was, but I missed the writing. So, and then when the kids were adults, if you're a stay-at-home parent and the kids grow up and you've done it for so many years, you're like, what the hell do I do now? I'm 54 years old, and well, at that time I was like 50 something, I mean, I've been like lost for several years. Just like, what do I do the rest of my life? It's, I got to do something meaningful, something I enjoy, and not just going to get a job for the sake of getting a job. And, so again, we always love these old houses. My wife brings me to this home, and right when I walk into the door, it felt like being at grandma's house. Even though the house was not decorated like this, it was all white. Everything you see here, my wife has decorated over the course of like almost the 2.5 years we've been here. But it still felt that energy. I felt like I felt like I belonged in this place for some reason, and it was like loving and kind and warm and protective even. And I looked at my wife almost immediately, and I was like, "Yeah, this is it." And she was like, "Yeah," because she really liked it because it's got so many original details still. And we didn't know that the boarding house history and any of that before we moved in. Didn't know it was haunted. And then, moved in. The dog wouldn't sleep in the bedroom. I started researching the history of the house, and that's when I come across the third person who passed in the house, who was a former writer named Harold Monroe, who passed away in this room right here, where we feel that energy, the kind, warm, loving energy right here. He passed away on St. Patrick's Day, 1977, at 11:11 p.m. at the age of 71 of a massive heart attack right here. There used to be a door to the bedroom that they had, the primary bedroom. It was over just a little bit here. So he was sleeping, walked out the door to try to use the telephone in the front of the house and just collapsed right here. And I thought 11:11 was interesting because somebody told me to look at what time he had passed on TikTok, actually. And I did. And it said 11:11. They told me that's some kind of angelic number. And he was a very religious man in life, but also a huge dog lover. Then, about a decade after Harold passed away, a man named Walt moved in. Walt was Martha's new boyfriend, and they lived together for several years until Martha passes away right here on Halloween in 2009 at the age of 90. So, St. Patty's Day, Halloween, Martha, being the kind, loving, compassionate woman I learned she was, uh, left the house to Walt, her boyfriend. It didn't go to the kids in 2009, which she has three. So she was very concerned, before she passed, that Walt was going to be able to live here the rest of his life rent free. He only had to pay the taxes, which was kind of a struggle at the end. But, and oh, yeah, Martha also, huge dog lover. So, anyway, she left the house to Walt. Walt then passes away on February 3rd, 2023, in my guest room at the age of 85. Right here is where his hospital bed was. So come on into Walt's room. Is this on? Wait. Okay, I was just making sure that wasn't on. Alexa's been a little weird today. We had a little weird Alexa thing today. I know it can just be a glitch, but it seems like we have a lot of glitches in this house with electronics. But Walt's bed was right here. He was 85. Again, natural causes. Everybody who passed in the house passed with natural causes. Age 71, 75, 78, 83, or 85 and 90. But now we're going to get to the part where the not natural causes come in, and I have to watch my language for TikTok, so I got to use TikTok language if we are broadcasting, I assume. And I get banned a lot and for telling stories, so I'll keep it the cleanest I can. It's just very dark. But so next door there was a man, and I just learned something today about Sam I did not know. This is a weird story because Sam, we do these little cat toys for Sam. He just uses the Grover ones. And today, like, they lit up when we were doing our live this morning. And then his wife this afternoon posts this thing on Facebook that it's described exactly what happened to Sam when he passed away. I never knew the full story because when I met her, she didn't tell me. So it's almost like Sam was like using her to like put that out now so I could learn the full story of what really happened instead of continuing to tell the story that's not quite accurate. So now I know the accurate Sam story. It does include a little PTSD, but it's different than I thought, and it's even sadder in a way. So who was Sam? Sam moved in next door with his wife, Julie, I think it was the 1990s, early 1990s. And Sam became good friends with Walt, who passed away in this room, lived in this house, because Sam was a Marine, Vietnam vet. Walt was a Navy guy. So they, kind of bonded over the military. And Sam was more of a kind of bald, like goofy guy and really funny. And Walt was more of the Matthew McConaughey kind of cool guy. So they had a good yin and yang going as well. But unfortunately, this is the story I just learned today, according to Julie's post about what happened actually with Sam, sorry. So they were living next door, renting, the house for like 30 years. They loved the house. She raised her kids from a previous marriage in the house, and Sam was like the new guy, their new husband. And so they lived there for almost 30 years. But then the landlord they were renting raised the rent from like $700 to $1,200 a month because this area is really growing. So they couldn't afford it and they had to move. And at that time, Sam was diagnosed with terminal cancer. He had stage 4 cancer. So he was dealing with that and dealing with the fact that he, was basically getting evicted and they had no place to go. So in July of 2017, he walked in the backyard and ended his life, actually.
Oh man.
Um,
Jeez.
so then on the other side of our home, I found an article in 1911 about a 16-year-old named Irene Lauterbach who passed away of typhoid fever when typhoid swept through this area through contaminated water. And of course, disease back then was rampant, hygiene wasn't good. And so even the flu could take out a lot of people. And then next to Irene's, 2 houses from mine in 1998, I came across a newspaper article about an 18-year-old that unalived his grandmother with his bare hands. And the police found satanic symbols in his bedroom. Then a couple days later, he went back to the house and got arrested upstairs taking a shower where he unalived his grandma by, just the hands, you can imagine. Then a couple houses down from that one across the street, 1999, there was a couple in their 60s who were unalived in a brutal home invasion robbery gone wrong, which is still unsolved here in Fort Worth. Then 12 houses from mine in 2020, a 4-year-old was unalived by her mother who was hearing a voice that said if she didn't do it, something worse would happen to her. So the mother unalived the 4-year-old, put her in a garbage can in the backyard, called 911 to report her missing, and she's now serving 50 years in prison. Then in 1914, 15-year-old Ray Roberts and his 2 friends were going to go hunting at a farm called the Shaw Farm, which is they were going to cut through the rail yard across the street. So behind this white home across the street there is a road and then the rail yard's right along the road. But when Ray was climbing on top of one of the boxcars, the thing that he was hunting with went off through his head in front of his 2 friends, and he comes running to my house, or his friend comes running to my house to call the ambulance. And they did have a phone in 1914 in this house, and the servant, Frank Wise, is the one that called the ambulance for Ray. He didn't make it, of course, and we think he's here sometimes. And when he is here, he's the one that likes to mess around with my wife, sometimes even when she's in the tub. So it's definitely been interesting, but not like, he's 15, man. If he wants to look at my wife, that's fine. I don't care. She looks like Rue McClanahan anyway, so have at it, right? So just kidding. It's just a joke there. She's actually really pretty, but I hear no laughter. Oh boy.
Hey, some people like Blanche,
Right?
She was the fun one on the Golden Girls, if I remember correctly.
Exactly right. So there you go. Right. Okay. I'm gonna stay serious here. So but anyway, that's that was horrible, very sad, and just seems like tragedy after tragedy on this block and street. And so then I got to be careful on this one too because TikTok doesn't like this story. So 3 houses down from mine, in 1921, there was a couple named Floyd and Alma Holmes renting that house as their mansion was being built further up the street because Floyd was a rich oil guy. But Alma was cheating on him. He found out about it and he unalived the guy that was cheating with her. So he ended up on trial, found not guilty, helps to be a rich oil man. But Alma never left him. He never left her, of course. And they were together until karma caught up with him about 5 years later, where he passed of meningitis in Los Angeles on business around the age 43, I think he was. But then Alma moved to this place called Forest Park Apartments towards the end, which is over by the Fort Worth Zoo. It's called Forest Park Tower now, and she lived on the 10th floor, opened the window, and in 1942, at the age of 53, left the earth. So, and I think there's some lore about her over there haunting the Fort Worth Tower, but I haven't really dug into it too much. But I just thought it was interesting. There was a connection to the street. And then 3 houses down from that one in 1923, it was originally a 4-unit apartment home that exploded and destroyed and damaged several homes on my block. My window probably had some windows broken out, but miraculously, nobody was killed in that or unalived in that. And just some severe burns I read. And then for the next book is going to take place on the street behind me. So behind the apartment home that exploded in 1923 on this street, on the corner, in 1919, there was a 3-year-old visiting his aunt with his mom and his new baby brother or sister from Wichita Falls, Texas. And after the visit, they were catching the trolley car that ran in front of the home to get back to the train depot to go to Wichita Falls. And the 3-year-old ran out in front of the trolley, and the mom was trying to get the 3-year-old, and the 3-year-old and the mom were both hit. He was instantly unalived, and she was severely injured, but survived. But I can't imagine having to go through that the rest of your life, just living that over and over again. I'm sure her sister saw everything too, 'cause she had to drop the baby out of her arms, literally, to run and try to save him from the trolley. And then inside that same house in 1930, there was a 60-year-old man just days before his retirement, passed away in a really bad house fire. And one of the causes the fire department was looking into was to see if he spontaneously combusted. So you can guarantee you somebody in my next book is going to spontaneously combust, Wow. So then there's more and more and more. For the second book, I sometimes tell the stories that are going to be in the second book. It's what we do is we use the real stuff as inspiration and then put it into the book and turn it into like a historical fiction horror novel, like similar to like The Conjuring or the Amityville Horror or The Shining. So although I think our books has more reality in it than any of those books probably combined. So it's just weird too how it just goes street to street, to street. I already have the third book planned out, and that goes on another street, and I literally can go street to street and find stories like this, one after the other. And the land here used to be Comancheria, which is Comanche Indian territory. And when the settlers came in, of course, the Texas Rangers were here to protect the settlers from the Comanche, and they were fighting. And then the Army came in 1849 and established Fort Worth as an Army outpost to protect the settlers from the Comanches. So skirmishes all over the land. And then we're 2 miles from where Hell's Half Acre used to be. And if y'all have heard of Hell's Half Acre, it's like the Wild West on steroids. It was very, very violent, very violent. So that's pretty much the oh yeah. And so the first book, I ended up working with Jennifer. Where's the book? About the true hauntings in my home and the true crimes on my street. And then that's kind of the formula, basically. The next book will be about that White House and then the true crimes that I found on that street. And there's some pretty scary stories that are true that I found. So that's it.
Wow. So when you're writing your book, or you're helping with the book, is it like fiction mixed with fact, like kind of like a story type thing,
Yes.
or is it just is there like a through line, like a main character?
Yeah, so my character, it's the whole book's based off of this real experience. And my character in the book is a comedy writer that gets fired. I got, my guy retired. The wife gets a promotion in the book. That's my wife's character. She got a promotion in real life, which enabled me to be a stay-at-home dad, which my character in the book is kind of a stay-at-home dad, while he's finding out all this stuff about his house and the dark history. So like a lot of the dates of the actual passings of people in the home we use, like, October 31st, in the book, there's a character I find out who passes on Halloween, and it sounds so like unreal, like, oh yeah, Halloween and St. Patrick's Day. Yeah, sure.
That's convenient.
Yeah. And the cool thing is it's all documented. I have all of it. So it's a pretty amazing story, and it continues to unfold because it's been a little weird in this house the past few days. So
Before we get into that, where can people find your books? So if you
the
want to
rainforest, and Audible. When I say the rainforest, I have to say that for TikTok's sake, but if you know what I mean.
The
Yeah.
river. The
Yeah,
river.
it's hot and
Yeah.
humid there, and
Yeah,
they're boa
gotcha.
constrictors and bald guy with a lazy eye and a trophy wife. So yeah,
So go check out the river.
and I will tell you,
Yeah.
the Audible book. I'm so proud of the Audible book that we did. It's immersive because in real life I read on about a 7th grade level. So I was diagnosed with learning disability when I was a junior in high school, and that's when I realized, okay, this is why I hate school, because I can't comprehend what I read on the page.
You and me both,
And-
brother.
Okay, so
Yeah.
and then having ADHD on top of that was, like double whammy. So I had to work around and find a way to be able to get this book out. And because I could never do it on my own, absolutely not. So without Jen, this wouldn't happen. Without me, Jen wouldn't be writing this. So it's like the perfect collaboration, even though in real life she hates scary stuff. And it's so funny. I hate reading. She hates scary stuff. And they're like perfect team to write a book that people are comparing to The Shining, So it's a
Wow.
pretty solid comparison for the first book, I would say. But the next one's going to be so much better because now I know what the hell I'm doing. The first one I didn't know what I was doing, but now we have established characters, and it's a really going to be a really good solid story. And they're going to be about 8 books in the series. So we're kind of creating a universe inspired by my true neighborhood and the true stuff that happened here.
I mean, listen to your story. There is so much that happened, like all around. Like,
Yeah.
it's crazy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it is.
It feels like there has to be something playing into it.
Yeah, that's kind of what we did with the book. The backstory we created was complete fiction, but we actually incorporated some reality. We pulled in Hell's Half Acre, and like this reverend that lived here, and it's it makes sense. And there's actually a true event in the book that also inspired the prologue on the street behind me, ironically, and it was just so good that I had to use it for the prologue with the reverend stuff. But this is the article right here. I put it in the book. It's about a woman that was dragged by the hair along the street. She was like being dragged by the hair behind a buggy, probably like just kind of her feet kind of dragging a little bit. Sorry about that. But so people thought she was unalived, and the guy unalived her, and people were screaming as they were going by, but it just turned out they were hammered drunk. But in the book Ghostwriter, I made the Reverend character unalive Lady of the Night he was seeing in Hell's Half Acre because she was 6 months pregnant and was going to tell his wife and ruin his good name. So that's how the whole curse kind of starts. He's dragging her behind the horse and carriage, and then he starts bashing, into the wheel as she's cursing him and the church and the street and everybody that lives here. So she's kind of I guess you would say the evil, throughout the whole series. It's her curse, and she's the one that's causing all these people to do such dark things by basically possessing them. So, and sometimes you're like, okay, is there something to a curse for real around here? My God.
Right.
Makes you wonder.
It does. It does. But this house doesn't feel like that. This house is like, I like to call it the light in the darkness. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like people ran here to get help for Ray Roberts. It's the kind, energy in the house. It's like, and it was a boarding house too. So there's so many people that have lived here. Let me show you the book that I made. And we're going to leave this book into as part of the house. Like whoever gets this in the future, they'll have a documentation of everybody that lived in this house or was renting a room. At least what we found with the census information, or tying it with newspaper articles about maybe somebody that was winning a baking contest that was renting a room here. I think, what was her name? I have all these documented in here, but Annie Grace Cheney, I think was her name. So this is our home right here. And then we started in 1914. The house is built in 11, but the papers got back that we're only in for 14. But the house is built in 11, and we don't have the census information on who built the house. But we think it was Anna Lubbock Kennedy. It's a long story, but we're just speculating. I'd love to find, who actually built the house. Could have been a man named John or Thomas. God, what's his name? There's so many different names. I'm sorry, I keep forgetting. But anyway, so we found all this information and we documented it, and we have the names and the occupations. The years they passed, birth certificates, death certificates, just all kinds of stuff. And then we just go through the years of all the people that rented rooms and lived here, and interesting stories that pop up about a guy getting arrested who was renting our room, I think. He swindled a guy out of $7,000 in Kansas. He got arrested here in 1920. So there's Anna Lubbock Kennedy's grave in Colorado City, Texas, her death certificate. So anyway, you can see I got kind of really into the weeds. So and then we'll put our information here. So, pictures and things that we did to the house, and so people can learn about us, and then hopefully they'll add theirs, and we'll just keep going and going. So, but we're going to improve the book and laminate everything, get it all really nice over time.
It's so cool.
'Cause
Everybody did that for their house.
we're still documenting more. So there's still something, like there's some people I need to add in here now that we found. So yeah, it's so, because I would have loved to have something like that. And you know what I found out? Harold Monroe, the writer, he was actually researching the history of this house. his son sent me a picture of the names that he had found. It was a little harder back then because, we have the internet now and it's a little easier, but he got back to 1920 and I got back to 1911. So I feel like I almost kind of finished off some of the research that he was doing, and he was using me to do that, as well as tell his story and then get me back into doing what I love again, which is now writing horror novels as opposed to writing comedy. But this house gave me purpose, it gave me vision, it gave me a clarity that I've never had in my life. And it's absolutely incredible. And I love telling the story.
It's amazing how, before you moved in, you had no idea that this house is exactly what you needed in your life, and now it's become a part of you.
Yes.
But you felt it. You felt that like like when you say that, I was like, that's how you just know something's right.
Yeah.
When
Yeah.
you walk in and there's something very familiar about it, and that's
Yes.
how you know that you're on the right track with things.
Yeah, it's almost, and some of the stuff that I keep finding for these books, it's, people say it like sometimes books write themselves, but man, like this next one, it's already done in my head. Like, so, I'm already looking to the third. So, Jen's like one thing at a time, because she writes other books. This is not her normal genre, she's not a horror writer, but I'm telling you, like, it's going to turn into a horror writer, whether you like it or not. So, and I think she really like understands how big this really is because, without me moving into this home, I would have never been a part of a book. It would never been a part. I'd never, I mean, I always joked about writing a book, but literally for me to sit down and be able to figure out how to ever write a book, people are like, oh, you can do it. Oh, you can. No, I can't. I can't do it. So I need help. And, um, but yeah, so now I do the TikTok live tours, and those are a lot of fun. And I use my comedy background to try to make people laugh and start riffing on some comedy. And so it's a good way to get that comedy back out too. So I get that release of the comedy stuff, and then I can also now really get into my passion of researching for these horror novels. So yeah, no,
Yeah,
I'll stop ranting. I'm sorry.
your personality definitely comes out when you do the TikTok live, because you feel like you're in your zone, so to
Right.
speak.
Yeah, exactly. If I'm a guest on somebody's show or a podcast, I'm not going to be dancing around and doing weird stuff. You know what I mean? I'll keep it pretty normal. But yeah, if you want to just hang and have fun and laugh, and I just do some comedy, I'm sure I offend some people every now and then, but I'm a Gen Xer, so I don't care. So it's just like I'm not used to this not free speech stuff. I used to write comedy. It was even actually back in the early 2000s. You had to watch what you said, or the FCC was on your arse trying to fine you, $250 to $500,000. So I used to write filthy, filthy scripts and send them over to Gary. I knew they wouldn't make it, just to make them laugh.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough. You really got to watch what you say, even if you're not seeing anything like terrible.
Oh yeah, I got restricted in 2 countries today because I don't like to wear shoes, and I guess my feet were like inappropriate in some countries, so I got two restrictions.
They have
Oh,
like
God.
only feet crowd. They get a little riled up when they see the little piggies coming out. So you got to be careful.
It's crazy.
With that.
Anyway,
What's the craziest thing that's happened during a live stream?
sometimes people will hear voices and whispers on their end. They tell me, and it's not just one or two people that have told me. There have been a lot of people that say actually they can experience things on their side. Now, can I validate that? No, but would it surprise me? No, because I've done a lot of podcasts, and people that do interview in this house, that they've had like technical issues that they've never had before, and that's happened to multiple people on like probably 3 or 4 of the podcasts I've done in the past. But I think the weirdest thing on the live, I would say. Oh, man, there have been so many, but it's always this room. This seems to be the most active room. This is Walt's room, we call it. Again, because Walt passed in this room in 2023. So, it's like he's the most active spirit here for sure. And the energy in this room can get really, really weird. And what we do is we play music a lot because music is such a great thing to connect, I think, with spirits. And, you can go back to 1910 in this house, 1910, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80s, and that seems like we'll find certain songs. And there are songs I know that they liked in life and I'll play for them. And like the other day I was asking the ring the bell, do the K2 meter. I'm learning the names. I'm not an investigator. The K2 meter and then the cat ball. And I said, do it all. Can you do all three? Because it hadn't happened for a while. And that night I asked, or when I was doing that live, it didn't happen. But the next day, all three were just going and going and going and going and going. Then there was a viewer on TikTok. Her name's Marcia. She's been watching for a while, and you get to know people. It's awesome, And so she was telling me about her mom, who was 99, and so I'd wish her mom well. And her mom's name was Laurie, and so her mom made it to her 100th birthday because everyone was like, "Just make it to the 100th party," and so she did. And then she passed away a day or two after the party. And so I asked Marcia if we wanted to see if her mom might want to say hello. So I took another one of these cat toys right here. This was all while I was live streaming it, and yeah, here, right here. And so I was like, "Hey, Laurie, if you can come and say hello, we'd love to see you. Just light up one of these little cat balls." And sure enough, that one on the end starts lighting up, and
Wow.
then it lights up again, and I'm like, "Wait, no, Laurie, no, no, no." I said, "This is the one I wanted you to light up right here." And sure enough, man, it goes off. And then I told the paranormal investigators about what happened. They're telling me you probably should be careful about just doing stuff like that because, you know, I think it was her mom, honestly. I really do, because her mom kind of knew who I was. And I think kind of got a kick out of some of this stuff. And but I guess when you start doing stuff like that and inviting and trying to connect with people that aren't even really associated to the house, really per se, like the other people that have lived in past here, I didn't think it was a good idea. So I'm not really going to be doing that
Inviting
again.
too many other you have enough spirits there, Brian. You don't need
Uh,
to invite any others.
Yeah.
Yeah. You want to have
But
an open
I felt so good because it
policy.
was so validating for Marcia, and it made her
Yeah.
just feel really good. And Marcia's house, apparently, she says, has a few spirits. She has names for her spirits too, and so she knows the afterlife's real. When we go on, that's the one thing living here has changed me too. Is I have no fear of passing away anymore at all, like none. Because I know for sure now we go on. When you experience this stuff, it really changes you. I mean, my wife saw a dog bowl spinning in the kitchen. You can't like not see that, and be like, okay, how in the hell did that happen? Or when I was in the TV room and I heard a man whisper hi and it was crystal clear, and my dog heard it and looked at the same spot where it came from. And that's the spot where Harold passed away and where that energy is felt. It's right in here.
How much of a believer were you before you moved into the house?
Um, I was pretty much a believer, I think. I've always been really open-minded about pretty much everything, it's just the way I am. But still, there's always that doubt in the back of your mind, like, well, wait, did I really hear that, or did I? Um, this, so I always, believed, but not like this, never like this. Yeah, I'm kind of like very confident about it now, and not, people come at you from a lot of the religious angles and say, there's only one ghost, the Holy Ghost or whatever. I'm like, well, that argument really doesn't hold water for me, because, we talk about souls, and we're souls and we move on after we pass. So, well, if you're saying that there's no such thing as ghosts, but we pass on, and go somewhere else that's in the spirit form, I mean, to me, spirits can go anywhere they want. They're not bound by anything.
Yep.
And as long as you are open-minded and loving and want to connect, you're able to connect with that. And so I would hope that people that, have people that passed away that say, I can't contact them or whatever. I think you can. You just have to be really open to it and look for signs. And just because I think sometimes I was closed-minded to signs too. And I did believe in coincidences until moving into this house, which, now that I look back at some of the things that have happened in my life, I'm like, that probably wasn't a coincidence either. There was a purpose for that. So I don't know. I hope that answered your question.
Yeah, it did.
Okay.
And you just proved the same thing. If you're open to it and they can be anywhere, what's the fact that you got communication with Marsha's mother. So
Yes. Right. Right. And so it's like I'm starting to realize that. And that doesn't even really matter what house you're in, right? You could be in a new house and be able to
yep.
communicate. So, but it's just the houses that have the connections and a lot of, I think they probably like coming back here now to see what I'm doing. And they know I'm talking about them. So they're going to be curious and they stop by sometimes to say hello. And they're all courteous and we feel like we're just kind of a part of the family now. I don't even feel like I feel like I'm a caretaker for the next, you know what I mean, to kind of keep it preserved and make it better for the next people that end up with this house. And um, but yeah, it's we love it. We never really we don't like to leave.
Wow. Wow, that's cool that you have that connection with the house and the spirits, and they make you feel so at home, because there's some
Yeah.
people, they have haunted how they live in a active location and they just gonna have no peace at all.
Yeah,
And it could have gone a different way, according, going by the stories that you've told us tonight, that you're really lucky that you ended up here and not in another location on your street even.
yes, oh yeah, yeah. Yeah, and I mean, we have a haunted house group on Facebook for this neighborhood, so I'm not the only house, and there's other houses that have negative things happening. So I just got lucky, but I don't know if it's even lucky though, because like I said, I feel like I was brought here. So is that lucky? I don't. I mean,
Yeah.
maybe that ties into my four-leaf clover tattoo again. But it's funny too. So Harold, was the writer that passed on St. Patty's Day. The narrator I hired for the audiobook has a four-leaf clover tattoo on her shoulder. Walt, who moved in after Harold passed away, was Martha's, Harold's wife's new boyfriend. I looked at his death certificate and it was filed or certified on March 17th, 2023. It's so weird. There's just like this. So in the book Ghostwriter, there's a lot of heavy four-leaf clover stuff, obviously for a purpose. Um, so yeah. Did I tell
That's
you
so
about the Lizzie Borden? Did I tell you about the Lizzie Borden stuff?
There's a
No.
Lizzie Borden connection. Holy
Yes.
crap. All right. Yeah. All right.
Okay.
We're big into Lizzie Borden on this
All
show.
right. So in 1905, when the writer who passed here, Harold Monroe, was born, he was born in New Bedford, Massachusetts, but he grew up in Fall River, Massachusetts, where Lizzie Borden lived. And Harold, when he would live there, he would see Lizzie Borden as an older woman walking down the streets, being taunted by the kids doing the old Lizzie Borden took an axe chant. He was apparently very interested in the Lizzie Borden trial. He talked about it all the time with coworkers that he worked with over the years at different newspapers. His first writing job was for the Fall River News. Then he ended up at the New York Times for 5 years, and he broke the story that DuPont invented nylon in 1939. Then he came to the Denver Post, the San Francisco Chronicle, and ended up here in Fort Worth, living in this home with his wife Martha, who he married in 1952, and then they had 3 children that they raised here at this house. So yeah, he saw Lizzie Borden.
Wow.
Interesting.
That is crazy. Well, I want to thank you again for coming
Yeah.
on, joining us for another show. This
Yes.
was a lot of fun, guys. If you want more of the Ghostwriter House, go check out his books on the river in South America, and go check out on Audible. What's the name of your book again?
Ghost writer, not writer, writer.
Yeah, not the ghost, yeah, not the Marvel comic. Ghost
If
Writer.
this gets turned into a movie, which we do have a movie script plan for the first one, hopefully coming up soon, but I got to change the name, man. It can't be Ghost Writer because everyone
Yeah.
thinks it's Ghost Writer. So we'll
Yeah,
have to
yeah,
think of a cool name like The Conjuring, or something cool like that. So
We will definitely have you back on if
Yeah,
this
as
gets
you
turned
release
into a
more
movie.
books.
Yes,
Yeah.
and
awesome. Awesome. Yeah, we start September to start book 2. So let's hopefully it will take around 6 months this time. First one took 8 months. So but yeah, thank you so much for having me on again. And I really would love to come back and tell you even more crazy stories. Because there are a
Absolutely.
lot of them.
you would love that. Maybe one day we can do a live investigation on the show.
Yes.
You know
Like-
what? I always thought like that would be cool. Just do kind of because paranormal investigators always want to come in here, and my wife's very picky, and I'm kind of picky too, honestly, because you never know. You don't want to bring somebody in that's going to all of a sudden turn this into the Fort Worth Demon House, or something like
Yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah.
Right.
So basically, but yeah, I was thinking online, like virtual. I think there was a group out of Miami that did that one time, and they were getting stuff on their necrometers, and it was cool actually. So if y'all would love to do that, virtual paranormal investigations in the house, I would love it, because I'd love to see what you guys come out with. If you find anything relevant that I know about.
Yeah, that'd be great. We'll set something up.
Cool. All right,
In the
man. Have a
future.
great night.
All right, man.
Thank
Thank you so
you.
much.
Thank you for
Have a
watching,
good
everybody.
night, guys.
Bye.
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 That was fun. I really
Yeah.
enjoyed that.
Yeah,
I
that
would
was
love
cool to
do,
see like each room, one room by room.
Yeah, kind of like what you do with Michelle on
Yeah.
her with the haunted apartment.
Yep.
That would be fun.
Yeah.
Guys, thank you so much for tuning in. This was a different show.
Yeah.
But I liked it because you got the tour and he
Yeah,
got
yeah.
to show off his house. And we did have him on Thursday night. So if you want to get more into like the fun, like kind of back and forth, that was Thursday.
It was Thursday night on TikTok.
Yeah, I think he kind of like he reminds me of like how Dennis is treated in the cabin, just he takes so much pride
Yeah.
in the house and the history of the house and stuff like that. So definitely go check out Ghost Right to Your House on I don't know if I guess I can say Amazon.
Yeah, you could say Amazon.
I can say Amazon. Go check it out on Amazon.
Go
on Audible.
Pick it up where you buy everything else you buy. So you know where to go.
Yeah, whatever. You know where we're talking.
You know where to go.
You're picking up what we're putting down.
Yeah.
So Thursday we are having Dana on.
Yep.
I believe Tuesday
Yes.
we are bringing Colin Morgan back
Okay, cool.
with his podcast partner. I completely forgot her name. I think it's
Yep.
called the Paranormal BS Podcast or something like that.
Yeah.
They'll be joining us next week. So, and then next Thursday we have Jeannie Payette.
Good. Jeannie's going to join us.
Yes. So we have a stacked calendar for you guys, and we're adding guests every week. So
Yep. And I got some from Gettysburg to
you did.
shoot your way. Yeah.
Oh my gosh! Let me know who
YouTubers
we
and
have.
stuff that I met. So yeah.
Yes, super exciting, guys. A lot of cool stuff happening. And we will see you on Thursday night. Same freaking awesome time.
Same freaking awesome show.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Good to go. There it is. All right. Bye.